Hi and welcome back to MRTV. We got new VR hardware here. This is the DPVR E4 and it is a wired SteamVR headset. Yes, you heard that right. Well, no standalone things going on. This is purely for the elite players, so for PCVR players, probably that's what they meant. Anyways, this is gonna set you back $549 once it comes out in January 2023. The company sent me this pre-production unit, which is not the final hardware and also not the final firmware, and the company asked me not to review this, but, well, I will unbox this and I will still give you and the company my first impressions, so that probably there can be some changes and improvements made until it comes out. So absolutely stay tuned, watch the whole video because all of the goodness is coming up. Glad to have you back here on the channel. My name is Sebastian, and if you're excited about virtual reality, absolutely subscribe to this channel and click on the bell button so that you don't miss anything, like for example this unboxing of the DPVR E4, and here it is. So let's first check out what's in this little box here before we get to the main event, the headset and the controllers. So in this box you are going to find something to read. First of all, that's the manual, and you should read it. I actually did read parts of it to find out what kind of software I have to download and where I can find it. So that worked out well. All right, then we have the power adapter and power cable here. This one, you're going to connect it to the actual cable, so your headset is going to be powered. And here is the cable. Here, you're going to have the port for the power connection here, just like with the Reverb G2, very similar. And here we have a USB-A and Displayport 1.4. On the other end, we have a proprietary connection that goes into the headset. And yeah, we're going to check that out in a moment. Yeah, the first moment that I got the headset out here, I found out that, wow, this actually is really, really light. And I will tell you how it felt on my head later. These are the controllers, and the first moment that I was holding them in my hands, basically in this moment, I just felt like, oh my goodness, they are so light. It kind of felt like just plastic with nothing inside, as in nothing. And it turns out there is something inside, like it does work. They do work, not just an empty shell. Yep, that was my first impression. The buttons, yeah, don't feel as good as the buttons of the competition, like Pico 4 or Quest 2. And yeah, I will talk about the controllers more in a moment. It's just okay-ish in terms of quality, probably comparable to the controllers of the Pico Neo 3 Link. Good thing though, they only need one battery, right? For the Pico headsets, you would normally need 2 batteries, but here only one, just like the Quest 2. All right, let's get to the main event. Let's get to the headset itself. And yeah, it is very light. And well, we have 4 cameras in the front, and these cameras are responsible for the tracking of the headset and also the tracking of the controllers. So inside-out tracking, just like on Quest 2. So for this headset, you don't need base stations. Also, let's talk a moment about the display. Actually, there's one display, and it's exactly the same display as in the Quest 2 and the Pico Neo 3 Link. So we have the same resolution there. Now, from the Pico Neo 3 Link, we know how good this display can look, especially once you power this with the Displayport cable. Yeah, another interesting fact about this, you could like pop up the display, and this functionality works well. We have Fresnel lenses here, so no pancake lenses or clear aspheric lenses, very similar to Quest 2 and Pico Neo 3 Link. And let's get this protective film away here so we can have a closer look. Unfortunately, and that is really a big problem of those lenses, there's no IPD adjustment at all, so you cannot move the lenses to match your interpupillary distance. That's a big problem. Right, then we have this facial interface. It's some rubbery material, just like in the PSVR 1. And this is only there to block the light. And I will tell you after the unboxing what I think of the comfort and of this facial gasket here. You can replace it, you can remove that facial gasket if you need to clean it, for example, and you can also remove the padding in the back and actually all the paddings of this headset. So that is actually nice if you need to replace them or if you want to mod the headset. Then this also has an elastic middle strap, also made of rubber, and it does have a few positions. So because it's elastic, this should fit most of the people, and this will take more of the weight away from your forehead. That's good, you know, that's something that the Quest Pro also would need. Yep, these are the loudspeakers. So this has integrated loudspeakers comparable to Quest and Pico Neo 3 Link and so on, and I will talk about them in a moment. Okay, that is most of what we have to talk about here, right? There's the cable here. Let's have a look at the breakout box. You would connect the cable here, the longer cable that goes to your PC. And on the other side, it has the 3.5 millimeters headphone jack. But let's first get rid of this protective film here again. Lots of things to take off here. Yep. Anyway, so 3.5 millimeters headphone jack on the other side. I'm going to show it to you now. Here it is. But this is a bit far away from your ears, in my opinion. So you will have lots of cable dangling around if you would use it. So that's not so good. Yeah, anyways, that's it for the unboxing of the DPVR E4 pre-production unit. And now let me tell you about my thoughts of this. Alright, so this is the pre-production unit of the DPVR E4, and I actually did hook it up and check it out, and I can understand why the company does not yet want me to review this unit with that firmware, because it is still not ready. I could tell, right? So in VR, the world was not stable. It would move with me when I was moving my head, so they still have to fix a lot of stuff. Well, good luck. You still have a few weeks left, right? So yeah, you really have to hurry up there, DPVR. Anyways, let's just assume that DPVR can fix those firmware issues and the VR world is perfectly stable and running at 120 Hz, because this was only running now at 90 Hz because they didn't have the latest cable yet. So let's assume they can fix all these issues, and let's talk about the visuals. So for that, I also will assume that all of you got a 64 millimeters IPD like I have, the perfect average, because if you don't have that, this device won't be for you, right? Because there's no IPD adjustment whatsoever. This is a huge flaw in my opinion, and I can't quite understand this for a headset coming out in 2023. Anyways, the visuals. So this has a very nice display of the Quest 2 that we know and love. Same display like the Pico Neo 3 Link, and we know what this display is capable of. We've seen the potential in the Pico Neo 3 Link because it also has a Displayport cable just like this, and I can tell you, yes, it looks beautiful. It's really nice. You have that very nice and crispy picture, and you don't have any kind of compression artifacts. The artifacts that you have when you play a compressed image going through USB or going through wireless, right? So you don't have this. You have a really good picture quality, just like on the Pico Neo 3 Link, but even with a very nice and big FOV, bigger than with the Quest 2, for example. So when I checked it out, I had 96 degrees horizontally and 96 degrees vertically. So a very nice, bigger FOV and a really nice, crispy picture that many of you who have 64 millimeters IPD would enjoy. The lenses are unfortunately Fresnel lenses, so we got the typical problems as in God rays, but the God rays are not much worse or not much better than, for example, in the Quest 2, so this could be acceptable. But in direct comparison with, for example, the Pico 4 lenses or the Quest Pro lenses, this obviously cannot compete. Yep, let's talk about the comfort, and yeah, that is something that the DPVR E4 has going for it. So this is very comparable to other Halo strap headsets, like for example, the PSVR 1. I would still not say this is as good as the PSVR 1, but it is borrowing quite a lot of concepts, right? So that Halo strap, yeah, it is very similar. Then also, yeah, this part here, this kind of rubber, which just sits on your face and not really pressing against it, this is honestly only there to keep the light out. And that is actually not as bad as it might look, right? So, yep, it has been a good concept for the PSVR 1 and here as well. It does work. Also, I could get into this with my glasses, so that worked nicely. And overall, because this is so light, this gave me a good experience wearing it. Well, I have not worn it for hours and hours because I couldn't because of the firmware, right? But for that first impression, actually, that was a thing that the DPVR had going for it. Now, unfortunately, we have to talk about the audio. And well, the audio that comes out of this little speaker here, of these two speakers here, was really so bad that I don't think that any firmware could save that, right? In my opinion, if that is the best that they can get out of this headset, they need to use a totally different speaker, or no, they need to use a different speaker system, because that sounded so bad. Probably one of the worst speakers that I've ever heard in a VR headset. So I don't even know quite what to say about that. So no, that can't work. So if they cannot fix this, then people will be reliant on the 3.5 millimeters headphone jack that is situated here at this breakout box where you would put in the longer cable. But the position of this is quite far away from your ears. So you would have like the cable dangling from here to there. And that is not a good idea. Next, let's talk about the controllers. And well, when you take them out of the box, you will think they are so unbelievably light. Yeah. So it just feels like very cheap, honestly speaking, right? But if you look at it, actually, it is not so bad. Yeah, I showed them to you before already, right? So actually, they are all right. And in direct comparison, I would say they even look better than the controllers of the Pico Neo 3 Link. But they don't look as good as the Pico 4 controllers or the Quest 2 controllers. Once you put the one battery inside, actually the weight is kind of okay-ish. It's getting better. Yeah, it feels a bit more substantial. And yep, it is okay, right? But it does not reach the quality of the Pico 4 controllers at all. But it's workable, and the short time that I was in the headset and was checking the tracking, it also worked okay, and it was not a deal breaker, as the firmware of this headset was, right? So yeah, we have to wait until we get the final unit to check out how everything plays out together. But this is a workable solution. So my feedback for DPVR is, dear DPVR, you obviously have to fix the firmware, and you know that yourself. Other than that, well, the biggest shortcoming of the device is the audio solution right now that needs to be fixed. Other than that, at least you need to have some kind of software IPD, because, well, I'm lucky that I have this 64 millimeters, but other people who are not so lucky and have like something else, like 60 or I don't know, 70, they will not be able to use it. And well, software IPD is the least that you need to put into this. Or, well, this is going to be a headset that is only for people who have around 64 millimeters, right? And that totally doesn't make sense. Yep, other than that, actually the visuals would be really good for those who can look through the lenses. And yeah, the flip up, well, it also works. Actually, it doesn't even feel cheap or so. It's okay, it works. FOV is nice. Visual quality is nice as well. But it is a tough sell, honestly speaking, for $549. And I'm totally aware that this would be a good price, probably even, if there wasn't the, well, Pico 4, Quest 2, and the wonderful HP Reverb G2, which is even on sale, right? So it is just so tough for a company that doesn't discount the headset, that doesn't subsidize the headset, that doesn't have the means to subsidize a headset, right? So it is just tough to compete against those companies who are able to do that. But I must say, well, if you sell it at a normal price, yeah, $549 is probably a normal price for this kind of headset, then you must get things right, like the audio, for sure, right? And then you must have things like an IPD adjustment, because not everyone has 64 millimeters IPD, right? So, yes, it is going to be a very, very tough sell. All right, and that's everything that I got for this unboxing and first impressions of this pre-production unit of the DPVR E4. I hope that you enjoy this honest and independent stuff that I'm giving you here on this channel. If yes, give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you've not yet subscribed to MRTV, absolutely do this now, especially if you're excited about VR and if you appreciate honest and independent reviews and impressions. That is everything that I got. So please do let me know in the comment section of this video, what are your thoughts of a non-standalone PCVR headset? Is that something that you would be interested in general? And give some good feedback for DPVR, what you need to see in such a headset down in the comment section. And yeah, also if you want to chat with me or the community about this headset or about any other headset, go to the MRTV Discord server. I'm there and the great community is there to answer all of your questions. The link down in the description of this video. That's everything that I have, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next episode.